Nation, Jackson, Janet's greetings and welcome to your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, bringing you some Steelers talk. This is right after a bug cap, so if you want my reaction on our awesome win against the Browns, Gingy, you'll catch it there. Gingy, it's your time to shine. No Laskers. Browns game. Your time to break it down, what you saw, what you like, what you hated, and we're all going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Mutant Gingy in the house. What's up, all? Coming back off of the Steelers dub, 4-1. Looking pretty good right now, Donkey. To me, Donkey, this was probably, given it's the Browns, I feel like this was one of our most complete games this season. I saw flashes from Jaylen Warren taking big chunks on the ground. Still didn't really have an opportunity to use him a whole ton, though. Didn't really feed him a lot. Saw some big plays, passing game. Saw some big sacks, some exotic blitzes. Jalen Ramsey with 2 sacks. That was nice. Really getting after the rook over there. And a solid double-digit win where they were able finally to put away a football game without everybody going into, cardiac arrest over the dang thing. Only thing I didn't like to see, somebody get some fresh sod out there for Chris Boswell. All right, because we cannot have that man pulling a hammy, a quad, a calf, or anything of that nature.
Yeah, the turf monster leading probably to Miles Killebrew injury, non-contact knee, might be a season injury, although we haven't put him on IR yet, but that's not really a crazy thing. But yeah, that turf kind of sucked out there. The Jalen Ramsey tweet of someday I'm going to tell my kids I played against Myles Garrett and TJ Watt in the same game and I had more sacks than those two combined. Dude, that guy had 3 sacks in his career coming into this week. That was by
awesome.
far one of my favorite parts of the game, Gingy. But I'll tell you what my favorite part of this whole game was. First down, first play of the game. Oh my God, a play action to Darnell Washington. If I ever buy another Steelers jersey, I know who it's going to be, man. I love me some Darnell Washington. That boy's big, he can block, and apparently he can even catch the football.
Massive.
You're talking about his potential or his size?
Both. I think he'd be an awesome threat in the tight end. Just put him in a post-up position. Have him box out those corners on down in the end zone and just throw a layup or an alley-oop up there for him. What's anybody going to do?
Nothing. And Gingy, there's something we have to talk about. That Browns defense is elite at rushing the passer. Myles Garrett is the greatest pass rusher in the generation, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers blanked those boys. They blanked them. I love to rip on the offensive line, and I don't think we're quite there yet. But, man, getting the running game over 100 yards and holding the Browns sackless, you have to mention that. They have to be given a kudos because all the hate I gave them, that's the type of game you have to have if these Steelers are going to be competitive.
Broderick Jones' best game of the season.
Yeah, helped out the whole time. I mean, I don't even think I remember Myles Garrett getting the pressure.
I saw some good blitz pickup by the backs. Well,
also, point 2, not saying he's the best outside linebacker on this team because dropping the guaranteed pick 6 makes me a little irritated. But, dude, Nick Herbig, the best pass rusher on this team right now.
So awesome. He is running stuff out there. Listen, he got his hands on it. He'll get his. He's still disrupting the game. Pick 6 that'd be nice, but it's a little greedy. He still gets the job done.
The rookie didn't see him and put it right in his hands, man.
It was going the other way. I thought
Joey
it was.
Porter Jr. doing Joey Porter Jr. things. Dude, someone put some stickum on that man's hands because he can't catch nothing.
No. Couple missed opportunities there, well. But the defense still, defense looked really solid versus that Browns unit.
Yeah, I was a little concerned that 3 of the biggest plays for the Steelers were the typical, oh my God, that wide open tight end dropped the football. That was probably my biggest area of concern was there wasn't those turnovers caused, and a lot of the Browns' wounds were self-inflicted, just not focusing, catching the football. But You hold a team to 9 points. It's good. I know there's a rookie quarterback. I know they're jet lagged, but this is that rivalry game. And it felt nice to have one of those games where I'm sitting on my couch and just having a great time, Gingy, because I'm not nervous in the least. Like,
Nope.
I'm only getting mad because we're not making the spectacular plays, right? Like missing DK Metcalf down the sideline, Aaron Rodgers. That made me a little salty, but that led to a touchdown later, so not as salty.
Aaron knew. You saw on his face. He knew it was him.
Dude, so you go and you're like, man, is Aaron Rodgers' arm dead? Like, can he not do it on that 40-yard pass? And then that same drive is the bullet just past the defender's fingertips on vintage Rodgers throwback. You shouldn't make that throw to Casey or Connor Hayward in the corner of the end zone, or middle of the end zone. It's like, so does he have superior arm strength or not? I'm absolutely confused, Gingy, but I'm loving the red zone efficiency of this offense. Was it 2 for 2 and touchdowns again this week?
I believe so. Old man arm strength.
We don't get there very often, but Gingy, if we can keep elite play in the red zone, this team might get an identity. Hopefully this offensive line keeps moving forward. Any little odd tidbits to you in this game that happened that you want to make sure get mentioned?
Like I said, we saw Boz out there on multiple attempts again. He did have a slip and a miss on a third attempt from over 50 yards. He put two field goals in before that, 6 points on the board. Man, that guy, are we thinking about all time type of great Steelers kicker now, or where we'd like to see where you kind of rank him on that echelon, Donkey?
In terms of Steelers, he has to be in that talk, right? I mean, not quite Gary. I think I had him number 2 behind Gary Anderson in my list.
I think we did too. Yeah. Just for anyone who didn't catch that content, we did do some top 5s over the offseason. Catch them out. They're great stuff, Donkey.
Yeah, it's good stuff to build on. I think he's getting towards that. I don't know, man, because with this new generation of kicker, did you see that dude who drilled a 67-yarder but didn't count because the timeout was called? These kickers nowadays are freaking nuts, man. Every one of them just seems like 50 yards is the new 40 yards. Like, these kickers are crazy, dude.
What do you say, Donkey? Some new footballs.
It's crazy. It is. One last thing here. Special teams, penalties for the good, drawing the running into the kicker gets the Steelers a first down. Good. And penalties for the bad, the Jabril Peppers blindside block that takes away, that Carrion Williams kid, man. I want to see more of him returning punts because that was fun, even if it all came all the way back. But by the way, getting stopped by the kicker, like having him slow you down, I hate when they get stopped by the kickers.
They do too, I bet, Donkey.
I'm sure, man. You see green and all you see is the punter. At least kick him in the face. Come on now.
Old school Antonio Brown style.
Exactly. I'd like to see that. So if we don't have anything more to say about that game, because to me I talked about it in the Budcap, you brought it up here. It was like in terms of the Steelers' victory, that's a dominant victory, 23-9. Defense plays really good, shuts them down in the red zone. Offense, they do a lot of meh, but the couple times they get a chance, they capitalize. That's what this team is. That's what this team does. And if they can continue it, Gingy, we have a chance to be a real threat and potentially a really high seed in the AFC.
I think we're already number 2 presently.
Yeah, Colts. Colts have an extra game played, but we get to play them. I get to be at that game. Let's go.
2 weeks. Let's go.
Let's go. Gingy go be there too. Gingy go be in the
fancy
there. Seats.
I'll be there.
There'll be lots of towels waving. So let's talk about some odds and ends from just the NFL week that I thought were really unique. I believe San Francisco set an NFL record for their 13th straight game without their defense getting an interception. So not a good record, but an NFL record. I heard that. Thought I'd bring that up. Kind of unique. Kind of weird to think with that Niners defense with a guy like Robert Saleh, who was so sought after this year. Last year, they were in there. You always think of them as a good defense, but just they don't seem to get interceptions, apparently, Gingy.
Wonder what's up with that.
And I don't know if you saw the end of the Chiefs-Detroit game, but Branch getting himself a 1-game suspension for deciding to punch Juju Smith-Schuster, rip his helmet off, and then do a little after-the-game activities. I don't disagree with what happened there, but the NFL might want to look at Juju taking a little bit of a cheap shot the play earlier on Branch as a why this happened type of moment. And, not saying that both guys should face the same thing. Branch clearly deserves a suspension, but they're preaching what are they preaching now, Gingy? Sportsmanship, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might also want to get the doo-doo initiated there with, I don't know, a fine. I mean, hell, you can give a $10,000 fine because Deshaun Elliott wears a black towel rather than a white towel in Ireland. I think you could give people a fine when they do a little bit dirty stuff on the field, right?
I would think so, but we'll see. I don't know. I have heard, if you look at the Twitter sphere, Donkey, that and Juju might have had that one coming, and people ain't so upset that he got it.
He did have it coming. So that's what I was trying to say it nicely, but yeah, Twitter sphere, we'll go with you. He did have it coming. Really though, the Steelers, because the Bills stack up another loss. The Chiefs have a couple losses already. We get to play the Colts. I know Baltimore maybe will get better, but they suffered another loss, have a bye week this week. Gingy, do you have confidence that this Steelers team can make a run at potentially the 1 seed when you look at what's remaining on the schedule here for the Steelers?
I do. I think they're in the driver's seat. They are the determinants of that right now. I think every other team on that list has given that determination away at this point. Not that they can't be. I still think that those other teams have a shot. But right now, the ball's in the Steelers' court to have this thing or not. They are completely in control.
When you look at the way teams are functioning right now, and when you consider what Seattle has done, they look like a really good team, so maybe that loss isn't even that big of an albatross, right? The Steelers and the Colts are the two teams that you have to say are the teams that are really making that stride to be like the, hey, look at us type of team. Jacksonville has 2 terrible losses you can't negate. Kansas City has a couple bad games in there. I know they're getting healthy, but their defense still doesn't look that great. Their offense is really carrying the load. Buffalo's in the spot where they don't even control their own destiny for their division, and they got outplayed by a New England team that the Steelers outplayed, now albeit by causing turnovers. But they're going to have some trouble in their division. Now, the bottom 2 teams is a joke there. But if you look at the AFC North, our whole division looks like a joke right now. Maybe the fact that we don't play Baltimore till the end of the year is a bad thing for us. But right now, the way the AFC's shaken out, this Steelers team needs to capitalize, and this Steelers team needs to absolutely put down the throttle. We cannot have one of those bad stretches of games, because if the Steelers team can get a 1 seed or at least a 2 seed, that's a big thing going forward. And I know it's a little early to talk about it, but it needs to be mentioned now so that if a let-up happens, you can be like, man, we just can't afford that. And building up momentum going into that Colts game is something we really want, because that game might be an extraordinary game in terms of seeding when it comes down to it here in a couple weeks.
Quite possible, Donkey. I couldn't agree with you more. We can't let that one slip away. It's a home game. It's one that we got to have.
Yeah. And, of course, I'm here talking we can't have letdowns because this week, short week at Cincinnati, cannot be a bad game for the Steelers. But before we break into that, Gingy, anything from week 6, NFL or elsewhere that caught your attention that you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. Is George Pickens the top 5 wide receiver in the NFL?
Dude, that dude's talent is absolutely unmatched. We talked about it when he was here in Pittsburgh. Maybe the personality was a problem. Maybe it was this. But the talent, dude, the things you saw that guy do were ridiculous. And now he's in an offense that throws the ball. And specifically, without CeeDee Lamb there, now he's the number 1 receiver in an offense that throws the ball. You get to see the potential of what George Pickens is. Now there's a lot of other things behind the scenes that the Steelers didn't like, but Dallas seems to love about him. And honestly, I think he's just one of those guys, and I've said it before, wide receivers are prima donnas, and they hate when they don't get the football. They hate when they're not the focal point of the team, and the Steelers just aren't that team. We need a special breed to work here because we call these guys malcontents, but really they're just guys who want to go get it. And then you could argue, well, George Pickens is the first one who was successful since leaving the Steelers. Of course he is, but that's just because Antonio Brown jumped off a freaking cliff when he left the Steelers and lost his mind. But man, the talent's always been there. The system seems to work for him. I'm happy for the dude because he's doing it in the NFC and it doesn't bother me, and that team still sucks anyway because of the Cowgirls. You know what? Good for George, man. Got his freedom and showed what's what. But yeah, I would say he is about, 10 games left in the year? He's 10 games away from getting himself wide receiver one money and it being well-deserved, is what I'll say.
Absolutely. I just wanted to see what you thought about all that business over there. Because right now he's top 5 and, I saw some projection. He's on pace for like 117 catches and something
caught like a jillion
like
touchdowns.
Yeah.
He has more touchdowns this year than he had his last 2 years in Pittsburgh combined, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, that dude is happy where he is. He's catching touch. And, dude, that hurdle he got, that dude's got some athleticism. Holy hell, did you see that hurdle on the sideline?
For sure, and as long as he's getting fed, he'll be well behaved too.
Also, side note, Gingy, we have to mention it because I think it's hysterical. You seeing this Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo bromance memes everywhere, man? That shit's great.
It's pretty funny. It's
good for them. Terrible for the Steelers because Ross got benched, so now we're not going to get a comp pick for him. But that put a smile on my face. So I thought I'd bring that out because every now and then you just need to laugh.
Scatterbo should have been a Steeler.
I said that for a long time. He was the running back I wanted the whole time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Big, physical, runs through telephone poles type of guy. That's what the Steelers should have wanted. That's what they should have got. But, we are where we are. Well, let's move this forward. Let's get to Steelers at Cincinnati. 71-40 all-time against the Bengals. Ironically, better on the road than at home. 36-20 on the road, 35-20 at home. Really weird that those numbers are so close. Of course, the biggest win was the Bengals by 35 points in 1988, 42-7. The Steelers beat the Bengals by 28 points twice, 38-10, 35-7. Those were in 2008 and 11, respectively. The longest streak was Pittsburgh won 11 from 2015 to 2020. I guess that's thank you, Vontaze Burfict. And Cincinnati won 6 straight from 1988 to 1990. I guess they were doing a bunch of icky shuffles in our house, Gingy. I don't like that. I don't like that.
So.
I do like the icky shuffle, though. So, it was before my time, so I could just entertain watching the old school highlights of him. The Dirty Bird, the old school running back dances, man. Good days. Of course, the last meeting was January of this year. On that day, we lost 19-17. Really just a precursor to what the Steelers had become under Russell Wilson. That's not who we are today. But, Gingy, there's the most important thing to talk about is short week, fake football. None of this matters. None of the stats we talk about matters. None of anything matters. It's which team heals up the quickest. I always give a slight advantage to a home team because they don't have to travel. But which team heals up the quickest and which team has a better game plan for the day and can adapt their game plan quicker to what is happening on the field. How'd you want to go into this? How'd you want to break this game down? Do you want to talk about the potential catastrophe of missing people? Do you want to talk about the quarterback retirement home game that is going on? Or do you want to actually focus on what these two teams want to try to do?
Let's talk about the Unk Bowl. How about these 40-year-old quarterbacks? That's pretty funny, I think. Joe Flacco. I thought that Joe Flacco would stop being a thorn in my side 8 years ago, donkey. I'm dang near 40 years old, and I still got to deal with this guy. When is he going to be done? He's been giving me stress for quite a long time now, donkey. This Flacco guy.
That's fair, but I'm actually excited to play Flacco because Browning can move a little bit, and quarterbacks that can move scare me a little bit because that's a Steeler bugaboo. But let's be honest here. Flacco ain't moving. Yeah, those weapons on the outside are fine. That offensive line is pure tea. Garbage. This is another game where, and let's be honest here, Flacco doesn't even really have a repertoire with these guys because Cleveland decided to trade him out of nowhere to Cincinnati because, well, that's what you do, I guess, when you're a crappy Ohio team, is you try to help each other. I don't know if it will work out in the end. Did you see Mike Tomlin ripping into Barry, the GM for the Browns, about that trade? Flacco going to Cincy?
I did. Must be way smarter than us, donkey.
I thought we didn't worry about things that were outside the building, but apparently we do have opinions about them. So
we notice. We notice things.
Nice to say.
We notice things, especially when they're against division opponents. We notice things.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's bring up, what does Joe Flacco bring? He's turned the ball over a hell of a lot of times. To be fair, I think the top 2 turnover quarterbacks this year in terms of interceptions are both currently on the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's kind of a fun, who knew type of moment.
Right.
You're talking a guy who turns the ball over a lot, a guy who doesn't move in the pocket. Gingy, I know Joe Flacco's been a thorn in our side. I know he's done some good things. I know he can still heave a football down the field. But he's the type of quarterback right now that's picture perfect for a Steelers defense domination, right?
Yeah. Let's go.
Like, this should be a 6+ sack, 3+ turnover, no doubt about it type of domination from this defense. Mostly healthy. Deshaun Elliott not practicing today. That's a little concerning. We know how important he is to the back end of this defense, hell, to this defense as a whole. So Deshaun Elliott doesn't play. That's a big hurt for the Steelers. But mostly everybody else healthy. This should be absolute domination by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
One would think, donkey. Should be able to sled downhill. I don't know. Does Cincy have much of a running game to speak of?
Brown is a good enough running back, but the biggest problem he runs into, if we're going to talk about it right, is the fact that this offensive line just sucks, man. And when you're behind an offensive line that sucks, it doesn't matter how good you are. You're not going to look good unless you're Barry frickin' Sanders. And no offense to this kid, like, he's a good enough running back, but he's not Barry Sanders. As a matter of fact, since they got rid of Joe Mixon, he hasn't really even lived up to the Joe Mixon type of vibe that was given. So we can take that as it is. I mean, I don't hate on Chase Brown. I don't hate on Taj Brooks. Samaje Perine is one of those just grinders in the league who will get you 3.5, 4 yards a carry, but never be really explosive. So when you look at it, I mean, yeah, they're okay there, but their line sucks. So we should be able, and let's be honest, since we got Derek Harmon back, we've been pretty decent at stopping the run. Should be no different this week.
Well, I like to hear, donkey. Should definitely be getting after the quarterback. I loved registering 6 sacks last week. I'd like to see another 6 more this week.
All right, so I pulled up the stats because I wasn't sure about it. Chase Brown's having a terrible year, by the way. 2.7 yards per carry right now. And it's not him. That's the thing, is it's not him. Perine has 15 carries at 4.5 a carry, but you're talking 74 carries, 2.7 yards a carry. There's nowhere to run with it, man. This offensive line there in Cincinnati, banged up and terrible, mostly just terrible. Big investments in players who didn't pay off. But, of course, when you talk about Cincinnati, we're not talking about their running game. We're not talking about Oshivas or Noah Fant, the tight end, right? We're not talking about Mike Gesicki. Those guys, skill player-wise, they're fine players. When we talk about Cincinnati's offense, it's 2 people you talk about, right? When Joe Burrow's not there, it's Jamar Chase, it's T. Higgins. The Steelers have to stop those guys. That's what it comes down to.
Can we? Let's hope. We got a full complement.
I don't think we stop them, Gingy. I just think they have so many damn negative plays. It doesn't matter when those two have medium gains. I don't think we're going to give them over the top. I think they'll have some medium gains. I think they'll both end the day around 100 receiving yards. Been terrible since he got signed there. Ted Karras is having a terrible year in the middle. All 3 on the field at the same time in Herbig, Highsmith, and Watt. Finally, Gingy. Finally.
So good. It looks real good.
Yeah, it does. You get to the defensive side of the things here. Of course, Trey Hendrickson's a monster for the Bengals. Joseph Osai is not a guy you can overlook. He's a NFL caliber starting pass rusher. Okay, I'm not quite sure how much we lost there, but we lost a little bit because my computer decided to pull an update screen. We'll get back. I know it hasn't been too long, so what we had just finished talking about was the Bengals offense comes down to stopping. So as we were saying, Gingy, there, the audio went a little crazy because my computer decided to try to update in the middle of this. But to stop the Bengals on offense, you got Higgins, you got Chase. Those are the guys you got to really focus on. But now we get to the Bengals on defense. We talked about some decent players they have there, the Geno Stone types, Joseph Osai, Logan Wilson really not playing up to his potential there in middle linebacker. But of course, it all starts with Trey Hendrickson stopping him. And maybe he stopped himself because he is on the injury report, left last week's game with a back injury and never came back in. Maybe a big break for the Steelers here. The Bengals losing by far their best defensive player. Let the Steelers get in there. Let this offense maybe have more space to run the ball and stay efficient in the red zone. That seems like what we need to do on offense, right?
How about it, Donkey?
Yeah. That's what I want to see. We want to see Aaron Rodgers, maybe, I don't know. As last week, Aaron Rodgers had his longest time to pass of the season and his farthest average target downfield. These are trends we'd like to see continuing. Rodgers more time to pass, the ball getting moved farther down the field, trending in the right direction. The Bengals, a bad defense, a team that we should be able to take advantage of and do this to, Gingy. But it is Thursday night. That's the crazy part. Do you see the Steelers having success being able to give Rodgers more time again this week?
Absolutely, Donkey. That we have the weapons and the opportunity for sure. We just need to give them time to be able to use it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see maybe a little better wide receiver beside DK, but we can't complain too much with the way the tight ends have been used. And maybe that's a big part we should talk about. Has Darnell Washington become tight end number 1 on this team right now?
Based on utilization, it sure seems like it. I don't see Pratt Freiermuth being a big part of this game. That's kind of surprising to me. Well, I don't know if him and Aaron Rodgers don't click, or if he's just having a bad year. Well, I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. I think his lack of blocking is really what put him out, and we're really focused on guys who are better at blocking, which is Darnell Washington. And apparently our Swiss Army knife, Johnny Smith, which I forgot to bring this up, but it's another thing that interests me in last week's game. Who the hell runs jet sweeps to the tight end? Like, seriously? A jet sweep to the tight end.
Arthur Smith, baby.
And ironically, Gingy, we suck at jet sweeps, but we got 9 yards on a jet sweep to the tight end. Are you kidding me? The secret formula has always been give it to a guy who has no athleticism and let him run the football.
Do something so crazy it confuses the other team.
I guess so, Gingy. Special teams, we expect more of the same from Waitman to work well. Maybe we get a big return from Williams this week as he's looking pretty good. And we expect to bounce back from Boz because the field in Cincy should probably be pretty good. Like I said, Gingy, this feels to me the same way I felt last week. I feel confident what we do good, the other team struggles against. And let's be honest, the Bengals just struggle all in all when they don't have Joe Burrow to put up 40 points to dig that team out of a rut. So yes. I feel really confident about this game outside of the, man, I hate fake football. I hate fake football. I hate fake football. That makes me
Thursdays nervous. Are tough. Thursdays are tough, Donkey. And to be honest, I don't believe that Mike Tomlin is really super successful on Thursday nights on a regular, is he?
I don't know. I don't have Tomlin's record on Thursday nights. I'll do a quick Google on that to get it for us while we go into. Are you ready for some? No, break down what you think this game's going to look like, and then we'll go into cash or trash, Gingy.
I think it's going to be Thursday football. Not necessarily fake, but very sloppy, not super precise. It's going to come down to who makes the least mistakes. Probably a big turnover on defense or a special teams play most likely decides this game.
So he's 9-11 all time, but specifically he's 2-8 on the road. And I've always said I feel home teams have advantages on Thursday night. Mike Tomlin 2-8 on the road during Thursday night football. Gingy, good catch there, good bring up there, great point to bring out. Maybe I should be a little nervous.
Could be scary. I honestly am a little nervous, Donkey. This is a team where we had a double-digit win last week, coming against what we believe perhaps is an inferior opponent, an injured opponent. We can't sleep on these Bengals on Thursday night. But it's been a long road for the Steelers. I mean, I know we had a bye week, right? But that was all after an international game. Yeah, we'll see.
Don't forget, Joe Flacco's only had the Bengals playbook for a whole whopping week and 2 days at this point. So maybe that'll play to our advantage. They're going to be limited in what they can do, probably.
They will be. I bet they will.
All right, Gingy, let's go. Let's go to Cash or Trash, and let's have answerer's choice here. Do you want to start on defense or offense?
Let's start on defense.
All right, defense. Nick Herbig continues his dominance, and he will once again lead the Pittsburgh Steelers in sacks. Not going to put a number on it. Just say he leads the Steelers in sacks this week. Cash or trash?
Trash. He's not, because he's not good, but we're going to be spreading that wealth around.
All right, that's fair. The Pittsburgh Steelers have done a good job stopping the run. The Bengals have really struggled running. The Steelers hold the Bengals under 60 yards rushing. Cash or trash?
Ooh, cash that in.
Okay, I like it. Joe Flacco, or if for some reason Browning has to come in, have both thrown an extraordinary amount of interceptions this year. The Steelers pay it off with 2 or more interceptions. Gingy, cash or trash?
That's going to be the difference in the game, and I do believe, yes, cash. They're going to be turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, big plays on special teams.
I like it. Let's keep moving here. Let's go. The Pittsburgh Steelers hold T. Higgins and Jamar Chase under 150 combined receiving yards. Cash or trash?
Ooh, if they do, that's going to be a big dub. I think they do. Donkey, cash it in.
Nice. I like to hear that. Gingy, rookies have been playing a big part of the Steelers, moving forward and pressing. Both couple rookies got their first sacks already. Is it time for the rookies? Specifically, I think Wyatt Black's the only one. No, he has one too. Between Wyatt Black, Harmon, and of course, where the heck am I going here? We have to see sacks from the rookies is what I'm saying. Do you think the rookies in this game will acquire at least 1 sack in this game?
I don't know. Harmon looks really good in there. I think he took a half a sack last week. Browns,
sounds right. And Jack Sawyer is the guy I couldn't think of, by the way. Jack Sawyer.
Yep. Cash it in. I think they're going to combine. I think they will step up. I think it's just going to be a lot of disruption on defense. I think that's where where all the action's going to be at. Donkey. I don't know if we're going to see it. Last week I called for an explosion. We got a mini explosion in doses. But this week I don't know if I'm quite as optimistic when it comes to even though we're playing the Cincinnati Bengals, I just don't know if coming off that short week is good for anybody.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Let's flip it to the offense side of the ball. Let's start with the point that's been killing me for a while. The Steelers finally get a 100-yard rusher this week. Gingy, cash or trash?
Cash it in. I think the Steelers get an early lead, so we get a 100-yard rusher in garbage time.
I'd like to see that. Aaron Rodgers continues this ridiculous ability to just score touchdowns when we're in the red zone. The Steelers will convert over 50% of their red zone appearances, which means they'll have at least 2. He'll convert over 50% into touchdowns. Cash or trash?
Cash that in. I'm going to go with that until proven otherwise.
Darnell Washington, best game as a Steeler, 60 receiving yards last week. He will once again be second on the Steelers in receiving yards this week, Gingy? Cash or trash?
Ooh, second. Trash that, donkey.
He's going to lead them.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's keep it going here on the big guy theme. The offensive line, absolutely stellar against the Browns. They do it again this week. They allow 1 sack or fewer. Cash or trash?
Ooh, cash that in. Offensive line. This unit, I think, is pretty hard on him so far through the first couple weeks, but I think this is a unit that gels better as the year continues to press on.
It seems to be that way to this point. Now, Gingy, DK Metcalf has been an absolute monster. He has he will this week, the last one, we're going to set it. Will DK Metcalf set his longest ever touchdown streak by catching a touchdown this week? Cash or trash?
Ooh. Nah. Trash that this week. Wealth is getting spread around. He's got to get. I'd like to see him get some more targets. I think he's got 8 targets, 9 targets a game now. I think he was targeted maybe 10 times or something, 4 receptions.
We gotta run an offense that targets wide receivers. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, I agree with you. Use that weapon more. Use him and run Darnell Washington underneath him so they have a hard time choosing who to cover. That's what I'd like to see more of. Gingy, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown what I'm looking for in this game. Of course, the Bengals are an injured team, an inferior opponent, especially with Burrow out. And if Hendrickson can't go, that's their 2-star players missing. You have to take advantage of that. This is a game, like I said with the Browns, this is a game when you talk about it, everything should view black and gold colored lenses. This should be an easy game. This should be a comfortable game. I should have a good Thursday night. And I'm going to leave it just at that. Gingy, what you thinking?
I like the same thing. I'd like to see a steady dose of Jaylen Warren, get some play action rolling. Play action was pretty effective when used, so we just need to establish a run game to do that. I'd like to see the guys dominate up front again. Been very hard on the offensive line and Broderick Jones specifically. Definitely saw the best game of the year from him last year. Would like to see a continuation of that moving forward. And you know me on defense, donkey. Splash. So we're looking for turnovers. Love the corner blitzes. Love seeing Ramsey getting involved there. Definitely has the speed. Chase down speed. Yeah, I hope to see a continuation of what we saw from the Browns, being able to consistently hold your own versus a generally inferior opponent skill-wise with injuries and such, not making easy mistakes. One thing in particular, though, is the Steelers have been one of the least penalized teams in the league, but that did not happen versus the Browns. I would like to see them get back to that clean, no yellow flag football.
Yeah, for sure. They were the least penalized going into that game and then had quite a hefty amount. I think almost approaching double digits, if not in double digits.
Yeah.
All right, Gingy, let's get into some picks then. We got Miami going to Cleveland. The Browns just lost their Super Bowl. I think they're going to come back angry, and that Miami team just seems to be falling apart. So I like the Browns on this one. What you got?
Give me the Browns.
Laskers likes Miami, so we're taking both sides of that game here. Laskers in the Pittsburgh-Cincy game happening real soon. Has Pittsburgh 21, Cincinnati 18 with the X factor being Jaylen Warren. I like a Steelers win there. Gingy, I like a Steelers win. I like it 27-17. It's where I'm feeling it is, and I feel it's not as close as that score says. That's what my gut's hoping for. My X factor, I'm going to say it again, man. I said it needed to be last week, and I think it needs to be that offensive line again. We need to get 100 yards rushing, and we need to keep Aaron Rodgers clean. I think the most important unit is the offensive line. Gingy, how you seeing this go?
I'm seeing a pretty steady Eddie type of game. We're going to see pretty clean sheets on both sides, relatively maybe boring football, as some people might call it. But overall,
AFC North football.
going to be the team that makes the mistake first that's going to, be able to capitalize on the other team's shortcomings. I think we're going to see a relatively low-scoring game, couple of turnovers, lots of field goals. Give me the Steelers 24-16. And our X factor being I want to pick a ground guy right after that story, but am I going to pick Warren or Gainwell? I think I'm going to pick
Caleb Johnson.
I'm not. No, Johnson's not on the list. Don't be. It's Gainwell or it's Give me Gainwell, and maybe not on the stat sheet, but I want to see someone establish an identity on this team where we can have a real short yardage back. And again, I know it's supposed to be Caleb, right? Right, but I need to see someone try to take that role, and I'd like to see Gainwell be that guy who's going to stick his nose in there and get the yard. But so come up, watch for a big 4th and 1. All of us Steeler fans are going to hold our breath because we're going to be like, we'd rather it be 4th and 10 than 4th and 1. This is more likely for us. But we're going to see Gainwell stick his nose in there and get it done.
I respect that. All right, Ginger, let's keep it rolling here. Let's go to shout-outs. You have a shout-out from last week's game.
Absolutely. Let me shout out to guys making splash plays. Another shout-out. Ramsey making huge plays on the defensive side of the ball. Cornerback blitzes. I really think he played a really solid game last week. And we've been pretty critical of some of these guys getting burnt over the last few weeks. But I really, really liked what I saw from that side of the ball. If I was doing shout out 1B, it's going to be, of course, to the Rook Harmon. Love to see him getting in there. Love to see him healthy. And I think he really adds some instant value and change to that defensive line since we drafted him, which is pretty darn cool.
Yep, he's filling that Stephon Tuitt role really well. Gingy leaves out poor baby Herbig, who's been sacking Dylan Gabriel since they were in high school, dude. They were in high school.
I saw it. He's been in that man's head forever.
That was pretty cool to see. That was a cool one. My shout-out for this week has to be, the offensive line. The Browns live on their pass rush. Myles Garrett lives on running his mouth about how he's better than T.J. Watt. And for our offensive line to make Myles Garrett have one tackle before the final we don't give a crap drive, that dude had one tackle, 0 pressures, through maybe one pressure because, PFF loves to give him pressures. But the dude had one tackle, one pressure through the whole game before the garbage drive. Man, talk about putting a smile on my face. The offensive line, the big boys, give Jonnu Smith and, of course, Darnell Washington a big shout out with that too. Those 7 guys just shut down what is the strength of the Cleveland Browns. I loved it. I want to see more of it. Let's build off that performance and make this great. Now it's time to let you know I'm the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Your daily dose of Donkey with Ginger is the awesome YouTube channel where you get this awesome content. Give a special shout out for Gingy being able to make a midweek appearance here. Not easy with the schedules we have since we live on literally the opposite coast. But Gingy, kudos being here. Thank you much. Send it out with a bang.
Mutant Gingy in the house. We hanging out. We watching football. Glad to be here, Donkey. Looking forward to a Thursday night game, right? I know the Steelers don't like it, and it's fake football, okay? But listen, I love the football on Thursday. I love getting ready for the weekend that way. Everyone get ready. Steelers Nation, let's go. Big AFC North matchup. Wave them if you got them.